Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be discussing the What Comes After Love episode 2 recap, so let's just get right into it. So we get Jung-ho's POV now, and we hear a Japanese accent in the beginning of the episode, and it's Choi, and she's saying, I'm going to go back to where I really belong. I might resent you if I don't leave now. So we can safely assume that he didn't actually do anything to spoil the relationship, but that she actually got really overwhelmed with being far from home, being away from Korea, and that maybe her mom was actually right in telling her that she never should have left Korea and should have just gone to find a job, especially because in the present tense she's an editor. It really reminds me of Taylor Rose in that way because Rose was equally as lost. Anyway, Jungho then reads the letter she left him in the apartment they share together, and he runs after her, but she's long gone. One thing I want to add that they don't cover in the first episode, which I kind of understand because it only has 6 episodes, is the fact that she's sharing an apartment with her friend and paying half the rent, but then suddenly she's pretty much spending all her time with Jungho, and is like pretty much, as far as we know for the first 2 episodes, not hanging out with her friend at all anymore, and I'd love to know how that went down. I'm sure her friend was happy for her, but I'd love to just kind of see how they figured all of that out. And she's Jungho's running after her, and she's like left, but she's long gone. And she tells him like, please send my things to me, like in the letter. And she even leaves her white house slippers in the house. So he walks in, he sees them on the floor, and that's how he knows she's gone before he leaves the letter on the table. And then he sees a flashback of her in the past while he's in Incheon International Airport. So he's already flown into Incheon International Airport because he's Mr. Sensei, the person who she's going to be like liaisoning with the book that he wrote, because they're going to be translated it into Korean and they want to ask him some questions. And he sees her, she sees him, it's really awkward. And then there's a voiceover, and he says that he's never believed in fate or miracles, and he used to think they were nothing more than coincidences, but there she was, it was a miracle. So you can tell that he's still really deeply in love with her, and she is with him too, but she's been avoiding him this entire time. She doesn't want to see him, she doesn't want to remember it, and it's like, I would love to know the exact steps it took for her to decide that she wanted to leave somebody that was so deeply in love with her, and somebody that she was also deeply in love with. Like, what led you to want to leave him? I'm so curious. We'll find out soon. We then get a flashback to when he asks her out, because he looks at her in the present and he's like, her eyes seem so cold. So he gets a flashback of how he asks her out, and he asks her out basically by saying, I think I found my everlasting love, because he tells her, you asked me if I believed in it, right? He's like, I finally feel like I do. I found it, you know? I would never fall in love until I found her. Like, those vibes. Or maybe the Amber Run version of the song. Let's see. I don't know. Either sad or happy. Sad or bittersweet. And then they sleep together. Now, let me tell you something I have noticed in K-dramas and C-dramas. The faster the characters sleep together, the worse the relationship will go. Like, the relationships usually don't end well the faster they sleep together. Now, in this drama, it already hasn't ended well, so potentially we have a happy ending. But I'm not expecting a happy ending. I'm expecting something maybe bittersweet. Like, I'm expecting they reunite, but not something that's going to be like, ooh, like, we're fine now. I don't think it's ever going to get to that point, but it will be nice. That's what I'm expecting right now. So then in the present, he feels she's gone cold, and then we get another flashback of why he calls her Benny. So Benny is Hong in Japanese, and she calls him Yono, which is Jonggo in Korean. And when they were together, they could not stand to be apart. She met his dad in the flashback too, the owner of a bar that they drink and listen to music in. And his dad mentions a bratty ex, whose name is Kobayashi. Now, I only know that because I went on MDL to look for it. We haven't been told the ex's name in the show yet. And I have a feeling the ex is going to come back and wreak havoc, and that's one of the reasons why she leaves. Not because he does anything, but because she's afraid. I think fear is the reason why she leaves him. So, and apparently the bratty ex, like, left him. Like, he didn't break up with her, she broke up with him because he didn't do enough or something like that, or wasn't enough. And then Choi speaks to him as he lays in her lap in the flashback as well, and she talks about how he's going to be like a great writer. And then we get the present where we can tell that she's clearly heavily inspired him writing the story about their love story. And also in the present, she adjusts his turtleneck, and then she nearly falls because she's like flustered, and then he catches her, and then we get another flashback about them going to Kyoto and hanging out, and her telling him that she's really lonely, and him being like, I'll always be there for you. And when they're in Kyoto, they go to see her dad's ex. Her dad's ex that he couldn't marry because her grandfather said that he couldn't marry a Japanese woman, and so he married her mum. So they go to meet the dad's ex, and they go sleep in a house. And Aoki is really angry with her because he's like, the woman clearly didn't really want us to stay, but like, you kind of just went into her house and like stayed there. Like, she didn't want us to be there. And she's like, whatever. She rolls over. He then hugs her. They make amends or whatever. And then back in the present, he tells his editors he's never forgotten his first love, kind of thing. And then we get a flashback again of her yelling at him before she left. And then he says there's regret in his heart, but we don't know what he's regretting, and we don't know what she's yelling about. And then back to the present, she leaves the office and he runs in front of her car as she's leaving the office, and then the episode ends. A note, these episodes are like an hour long, they're not too long. They're only 6 hours worth of K-drama. It's melodramatic, but it's not so melodramatic that I'm like, because there's melodrama that verges onto like a comedy, and there's melodrama that's just kind of like sad and mellow. It's mellow, but not necessarily like hyper dramatic. And I'm talking about things like The Princess of Young, which I think is like melodrama, like dramatic and very mellow. This one's very mellow and like a smooth, kind of slow burn discovery to what actually happened. So that's how I'm viewing it right now. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this episode. If you like my channel, please subscribe. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.